Hops and Stocks podcast is presented by 100 Spoke Media Group. We encourage our listeners to drink responsibly. Please note, we are not financial advisors. We do not offer or provide financial advice.
I'm Spoke affiliated from the city of Gems.
Welcome back to the Hops and Stocks podcast. This is episode 24. We got Sanchez repping the Bengals, staying the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? They actually will be playing here in Nashville, the Titans. So I'm actually excited to go to that game. Try to get my guy to come down, man. He pump faked me. He was like, nah, he ain't messing with you. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, man. I mean, I appreciate the invite. I just couldn't work it, man.
Nah, it's all good.
These kids, man. Don't have no damn kids, man.
I think everybody on this pod might have kids.
Man, yes, I'm late for that, bro.
I'm about listeners. Nah, I'm just playing, man.
Man, your kids are gonna be devastated when they hear this.
When they hear episode.
You know I'm playing, man. I just had to get on one of them. That's why I'm already started drinking, man. I had to get on one of these kids.
I'm like, Dad.
He's already pulled up. But
I appreciate the look, man. I wish I could make it. It really ain't the kids. It's just, organizing it, man.
Nah, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Excuses, pretty much.
Yeah. But today we got we will be, and I always have a problem saying that back to back. We will be reviewing IPAs. So we're going around the horn and we got all IPAs. We'd like to also introduce our special guest, Darrick Dansby. He's a realtor with, I believe was it Caldwell Banker?
Yep, Caldwell Banker.
Caldwell Banker. So I'm gonna kick it over to Doug so we can, introduce Darrick.
Okay. Well, Darrick, I'm introducing you, but you're gonna review your beer first, man. So you ain't gotta start talking yet, man. But
okay.
Yeah, Darrick's a frat brother of mine, man. He actually made me. He's my ADP. My golf buddy, and as long as I've known Darrick, he's been in the community working, United Way, 3CDC,
3CDC,
3C, yeah. So you've been in the community, man, and you've been doing a lot of great things. So that's why we're having you on, man, just to kind of shed light on some of your experiences in the real estate game, some do's and some don'ts. So I'm looking forward to that segment when you get to give us some of those jewels that you have stashed away. But to start us off, man, we're going to start with these IPAs. And I think, Blash, you're going to start us off with one of your offerings.
Yeah, I'm going to kick it off, man. Before I get started, I'm going to give y'all a little fact about the IPA. I guess there's a little discrepancy here. Some say there's 9 styles. Some say there's 4. I'm going to go with 4 because it's less for me to read. You have an English style IPA, an American style IPA, the Imperial or the double IPA, and H&S favorite, the Session IPA. Yeah, we'll keep it moving.
Yeah.
Don't want to get in any trouble with that. Tonight,
that's the second time that inside joke that came up, man. Somebody gonna start doing some digging.
What?
Tonight, I'm taking it down to Cashville, E. This is a staff pick at RHH. I got a Bearded Iris, the gold can, baby. Homestyle double IPA. And like I said, when me and Doug, as y'all saw us last night, was at the HH, there was a little sticker on this one that said staff pick. So I figured if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. Nice gold color. Here you go. We're going to take it in.
It's a nice color.
Make sure I don't say nothing about, anything funny to get me in trouble this time. Oh yeah, that's pretty good, man. Heavy citrus, not overly hoppy. I really like it. I think it leans a little bit more on the citrus side, which is good for me when it comes to IPAs because I don't really like, the heavy bitter stuff or the heavy hoppy stuff. So yeah, I really like this IPA, man. Good color, good taste. I think I'd give this let's go with a 4 1/4. I don't know if I can up it to a 4.5, but 4 1/4, man. It's good IPA.
What was the ABV? Did I miss that?
My bad. I did not report the ABV on this one. It is 8.2.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's checking in strong. You ever had this one, E? I know that's down your way.
Yeah, so Bearded Iris is walking distance from where I live. So I've gone over there, I'm saying, a few times, and IPAs is their deal. I think they do IPAs really well. If I had to choose who does IPAs best in Nashville, it's definitely Bearded Iris. They got some phenomenal offerings, including what you just drank. But yeah, I rock with them.
I was excited. Our RHH has 3 or 4 offerings from them now. So, and they're pubbing it a little bit too. So it was kind of cool, with our connection to know that this is coming into the Natty, and we already have some experience with it through you. So, it was good to see on the shelf. I like that our HH reaches out, to different areas. I picked up something from Wyoming. They got, obviously the overseas stuff. So it's nice to have a shop where, you're not just stuck to one area or whatever.
Yeah,
dig it.
That was a good find, man. I was there before you, and I didn't see that Bearded Iris.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something new that they do, because we kind of go into the shop and do our thing and kind of go to the same area or whatever. But it stood out to me with the little blue label this time. So I don't know if they've always had a staff pick. Okay, yeah, it might just be something that I noticed for the first time last night.
What's the price point on that one?
4, in the 4-ish range, I think. 4 for 1, something like that.
Yeah, because they were singled up. I didn't see a 4 or a 6-pack of that. I think they were all.
Yeah, they got. I know they on the shelf. Back kind of where we go. They got the 4-packs. I'm assuming it is.
Okay.
Yeah, they usually come in a 4.
What's up, Darrick? What you sipping on, man? What are you bringing for us today?
I'm bringing out the Cincinnati's own Rhinegeist. Rhinegeist True.
Yeah.
I know it's a pretty simple, basic IPA, but it's my go-to, to be honest with you. I mean, I could buy a whole 12 and sip on this for forever. Sometimes IPAs, you kind of have to mix it up a little bit. You go, your lighter, juicier to your Imperial sessions. This kind of, in my book, has kind of in between. I'm sorry I don't have this in a glass like the rest of y'all have. I'm just a guest here.
That's all good.
But it is, like I mentioned, it is made here in Cincinnati, actually downtown Cincinnati. And a fun fact about the distillery that it's in. I almost said dispensary, but it's not a dispensary.
Yeah, we know.
We know where your mind is at.
Yeah.
Distillery is actually in a building.
That's another show. We'll have you.
That's
on
a whole different. That's like
we'll have you
different
on for
show altogether.
Different pod. That's a whole different pod for real.
It's actually made in this old warehouse in over the Rhine here in Cincinnati at a place which used to be called the Katie Lant Building. And so the Katie Lant Building in 2002, 2003, it like basically burned to the ground. So the whole roof basically caved in and fell in. And if you ever go there, and I know you guys have probably gone there before, you'll notice there's like this metal roof up there. Mm-hmm. And so they basically repurposed the warehouse into a brewery. It's great. So it's one of my favorites. It's 7.2 on the ABV scale, 75 IPUs. It says, fruity aroma, grapefruit, mango notes. More than anything, I really taste the grapefruit more than anything. But it's a really nice IPA, very light, very refreshing. Goes well with the number of beers. You can really enjoy it all season long. So I definitely highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Out of 5 mugs, what grade would you give it, Darrick?
I would wholeheartedly 5 mugs. Wholeheartedly.
What?
I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was about to say, we usually don't get that in depth of a review from our guests, man. Like,
that was very impressive. Very impressive.
Auditioning for the 5th member of the pod.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. He definitely gets the crown for the best guest review, man.
Sure. I could be, a Raekwon, just hop in every now and then, with a fresh, lyric for you, But no, I love it. I enjoy it.
I'm gonna ask you one question, Darrick.
Yes, sir.
I heard you were considering reviewing the knowledge too.
Yeah.
Compare and contrast the two and what you like about those two.
The knowledge is definitely an Imperial. It's definitely a stronger beer. It's got, I believe, 8.5 APV, so it's a stronger, but you taste it. I can't drink a 12 of Rhinegeist knowledge. Like
that knowledge
it hits you. It's pretty hard. You know, after one or two, you may need to get you a bottle of water. You know, you'll be a little drained. You'll start feeling it. But I like them both. You know, the truth though is really it's just the go-to beer for me. Like I've gone up. You know, I'm originally from Northern Ohio, so I'll go up north and I'll see my family, my cousins. They even like Rhinegeist Truth. I've talked to people who have gone all over the country, and people love Rhinegeist Truth. It's like a go-to beer. And you know, I'm not a Bengals fan, but being a Cincinnatian, I can appreciate Rhinegeist Truth.
But you had a couple of those platforms that you were going to taste. I think that's up by Cleveland.
Yes, platforms up closer to Cleveland. They're the ones that I had were much more juicier, more fruity. I kind of tend to lean towards more fruity IPAs, juicy IPAs. I like the berry flavors as well, the citrus flavors as well. I really like those notes as well in my IPAs.
Thank you for that in-depth review, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Downtown Dansby.
Yeah, that's Downtown Dansby right there.
I had to pick a beer from downtown, right?
But you know what? I'm glad you did, because we've been doing this podcast for close to a year, and
yeah, man,
us Cincinnati folks, we haven't done a Rhinegeist. I mean,
yeah, it's a huge oversight on our part.
I'm shocked. I just assumed that the truth was done. You know, I've got another Cincinnati beer here. If you want to go more seasonal, this is a Mad Tree Thunder Snow. Yeah, this is a good one too. This is a real good. It's actually a Scottish ale. It's not an IPA. So
we might have to do a Cincinnati specific real soon.
There's plenty to choose from. Yeah. You know, there was another brewery I wanted to get over to. If you bring me back for that one, I got a brewery I want to pull out. I won't even say it. I'm gonna save it.
Give us a hint.
It's not Tabs, is it?
No, but it's Cincinnati made and it's Black owned.
Okay.
That's esoteric.
That's one. That's for sure. There's one more out there too.
Yeah, well, we need that hint. So you know, we got some events coming up. We need that hint so we can make sure we get that on.
All right, we'll do it.
All right, who's up next? Beat Up. What's in that can?
In that can? Or
So yeah, let's talk about it, man.
I was about to say, let's talk about it.
Taking this down south. This is from Cincinnati. This is a Streetside Brewery. The name of this one is Brah.
Brah. What's up, boy?
It's 6.7 on the ABV. New England style IPA. Similar to a hazy IPA, meaning you can't see through it, and you'll see it in a second once I crack it.
It's always a good sound, man, a cracked beer, man.
Look and color.
Yeah, definitely can't see through it.
Oh yeah, that joint is hazy.
It's like a tall boy, golly.
I'll say, looks grapefruitish.
Yeah, a lot of the beers we buy are in that taller form, Darrick.
Yeah, 16 ounces.
16, yeah, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to yell 16 without knowing, but yeah, a lot of our stuff is 4-pack 16 ounces versus 6-pack 12 ounces.
Definitely smell of grapefruit, pineapple, citrus. Definitely hazy.
Man,
say something.
That joint looked like some sort of concoction. Oh.
It's always anticipation when this.
Man, come on, bro. We got a guest on. Like, don't do this while we have a guest on.
Man, oh man.
We're sorry, Darrick.
No, I'm enjoying this.
I don't know, man. it's got a lot of bite to it. For it to only be 6.7, it's got a little bit of sting to it. I'm thinking it was gonna be smooth. This is my first time having this one. I've had New England styles before, but this one has a little bit more punch to it. I'm thinking it was gonna be smooth and kind of light. This is kind of almost a little bit bitter and with a little sting to it. So I don't know, man.
What's that other number? Is it pretty high? The other number?
Yeah, I was wondering if it got the IBUs on it.
IBUs?
This one doesn't have the IBU on it.
Oh, okay. It might be pretty high though.
I don't know. I'm indifferent about it right now. Probably if I take half of it down, I have a different review. But right now, I give it a 4, a solid 4.
Really?
Yeah, okay.
Are you ice
Normally,
cold?
I like it. Huh?
Are you ice cold?
Yeah, I'm ice cold. Normally, I like Streetside because I've had a big haul from them, and I've got like 7 of their offerings right now in the fridge. But this one, it just kicked a little different. So
you still gave it a 4 though?
Yeah, I give it a 4.
All right.
Well,
Reluctant 4.
Good, man.
I forget what the price point is. I believe I bought a single. I didn't buy the 4-pack, so I think it might have been like 6 or 7. They're kind of expensive.
Yeah.
So, once again, this was a Brah New England IPA, Streetside Brewery.
I'll go ahead and go after you, man, because I'm still in the same brewery as you. I'm Streetside, but I'm John Lemon. It's a Milkshake Lemon Meringue IPA. And Milkshake is a sub-style of New England style IPAs. And as I read a little bit more about it, it's similar, but it just has a more I guess a smoothie, like a smoothie type texture to it. So I've been sipping on this already, like I said, because it's been a trying evening. It's delicious, man. I mean, it's delicious. It's 6.2 on the ABV. Like I said, it's probably a little more full body than you all's, but that's the milkshake aspect of it. I thoroughly enjoy it, man. I will give this, 4 1/4, 4 1/2. I'm pretty cold too, and it's delicious.
In terms of, now I know you had the John Lemon when we did the Streetside specific, the blueberry one. In terms of comparison between the two, do you have a preference?
Well, I got real smacked that night, man, so I don't remember. But it's pretty similar, man. I think they do with the John Lemons. I think they're pretty similar as far as the taste. You get the lemon, you get the citrus. Obviously, with the blueberry, they crafted some blueberry into it. But I believe, if I remember correctly, I gave that blueberry a high note too, maybe 4 1/2. So they're about even.
Right about the same. Okay.
But it's something I would definitely buy again. That's probably why I grabbed the John Lemon, because it was so good the first time. So
yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, Blaz, because I thought he was drinking the same brew. I'm like, damn, didn't he already review that?
Yeah, now when we was in there last night, we did a quick review to make sure it wasn't the same thing. And it's good to have the episodes listed. You can figure out real quick what's been reviewed. So
Yeah.
you heard of Streetside Dansby? Have you had any?
I'm not familiar.
Okay.
good stuff, man. You got to check them out.
Yeah.
It's
Local.
It's off Dana, ain't it?
No,
Yeah.
it's on like heading towards Lunken Airport.
Yeah,
It's
I think
out that way.
is the street called Eastern, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like
Eastern
that.
Avenue, yeah.
Eastern Avenue, yeah.
And we can after around the 18 at Lunken, we can go hit them
We go
up.
go over there. Take your
before
craft
after.
with you. Yeah, before more than anything.
Right.
We won't make it if we go before.
No, we won't.
If we do, it won't be a good time, that's for sure.
Unless we pick up a couple of cans and go sneak them
Could
in.
definitely do that. We could definitely do that.
I got two
That's
of
the
their cans.
best way.
I got 2 of their cans. Them joints is like 14 a piece.
Yeah, they
14 for a single?
Yeah, I got
Oh,
2
wow.
of them.
Wow.
Yeah, some of that barrel aged stuff I paid. I know when I left there, I think I had like less than 6 beers and I was at like $60, man. Like it wasn't a serious haul.
Hold on.
They're
You
like
know,
14%.
how much was your beer?
That one was probably like 6, but I got 2 apple brandy barrel aged from Streetside. It's 14.
really?
They 14% a piece.
They barrel aged stuff is a little bit higher.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. Apple brandy.
It did. Is that a stout?
Yeah, it's a stout. Both of them stouts. So what you got, E?
Yeah, let's kick it over to E.
I'm gonna wrap this joint up, man. I'm drinking some Evil Twin Brewing, and it is probably literally, this might be the first, because I remember I had a long title beer before, but this might be the longest. This is called, that's the kind of IPA that makes you wish you spoke a little French. So oui. This is a double dry hop IPA. It's checking in at 8.5%. There's no IBU information on here, but I'm gonna say it's relatively low because it's not bitter at all. You can check out the color. Smell look like nice. Man, it looks like Tang. From what I've noticed, like when you hit this color right here, you got fire, and this joint is definitely fire. It's juicy, it's hoppy. You're getting grapefruit, a little bit of orange. I don't get any lemon or anything like that, but it's a real good balance of that grapefruit and orange. Slightly boozy. You're not getting, you know what I'm saying, any heavy notes of the jig taste, but this is fire, man. I'm gonna go 4.5 on this. I would definitely cop this again. Not sure of the availability, but once again,
put it up again. Okay,
Evil Twin Brewing, super long name. So anytime y'all just look,
they represent with the Eiffel Tower, so they let you know where they're coming out of.
This joint is fire, man. Like I said, it's good. It's hitting everything that you want to hit for an IPA.
In Dayton, man, I have a hard time finding Evil Twin or Bearded Iris. I can't find none of them joints.
Man, this mug is fire. Yeah, this is a solid 4.5 for me. Evil Twin.
What's the ABVs on that again?
The ABV is 8.5.
Yeah.
So it's you getting now you do get some of that those boozy notes, which B-Dub and them don't necessarily care for, but I like the boozy notes on IPAs and stouts. And this one's just great balance, man. Like I said, just it's the color, man. Like that color.
B-Dub likes the bougie notes.
The bougie notes.
But you know what? It's funny you say that because when I get a stout, I take them little shots that Doug and Blast be buying, and I pour it on top. The little peanut butter.
Add more jig when you don't like the jig taste.
I don't know. It enhances your jig. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I could dig it. But once again, like I said, we closing out the beer segment. IPAs. I think we had some, based upon the numbers and the ratings, some pretty good offerings. Time to kick it over to our stock segment of the Hops and Stocks podcast. And once again, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, Mr. Dansby. The floor is yours.
All right.
Yeah, all right. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Your journey in real estate, and I'm sorry I misspoke on the 3CDC, but
all good, man. All good. Yeah, I mentioned earlier Over the Rhine, which was, area I really started working in about 22 years ago, running a nonprofit called Smart Money Community Services. And we provided literacy training, financial literacy training, home ownership training, startup business training. We had some savings incentives. And then, that work just kind of led me to doing development work and working in the city, working collaboratively with corporate partners, nonprofit partners, governmental partners to try to help revitalize Over the Rhine, which has happened now. It was really like a dream when we started.
Wow.
And then, just that experience just led me to moving to doing more stuff in the community and other neighborhoods like Price Hill, Avondale, and now I'm a full-time real estate agent. I'm also a investor. I've got a couple of flips that I'm working on right now. So my whole day is real estate, live it, breathe it, all of it, and it's a wonderful opportunity. I'm working to help. I'm president of the Greater Cincinnati Realtist Association. So we're an organization that believes and strives for democracy in housing. And we were founded right after World War II. there was a number of GIs coming back from the war, and they were trying to buy a house. They couldn't buy a house because agents wouldn't show them the house because they were Black, or they had problems with financing through redlining. If you ever get a chance, watch the movie The Banker on Apple Plus. It really kind of talks about a lot of those things. Yeah. So there's 80 local chapters, and I'm the president of the local chapter here in Greater Cincinnati.
Hey man, congratulations on that. I mean, your accolades from your bio, I mean, speak volumes to the work that you put in, and you really deserve everything that you're getting out of it right now, man. And I mean, another big ups to you. You know, you had a hand in that OTR development, man. So again, another big ups to that.
Thank you.
You said it was kind of like your vision to see OTR become what it is now. What other visions do you have as far as real estate's concerned, and what are some goals that you're working on currently?
Well, with the Realtists, our goal is to increase the home ownership rate amongst African American families. Sure. Right now, nationwide, the home ownership rate for Blacks is right around like 42, 43%, compared to whites, which is at like 72, 73, 74%.
Wow, that's a disparity.
It's a huge disparity. And the Realtists believe, and I concur, is that home ownership is the easiest way to beginning to help build wealth. Right. Home ownership allows a house to be transferred from one generation to the next, and home ownership is key at ensuring that we have strong families, because if you've got kids that are living in a stable neighborhood and a stable environment, then they're going to remain stable, and the parents are going to continue to go to work because they got to pay this mortgage, and the kids are going to show up to school, and they're going to appreciate school, and they're going to take pride in their neighborhoods and in their communities and get engaged and get involved. And then, financially, it's always good to know exactly how much money you're going to have to pay for your rent or your mortgage each month, right? So when you become a homeowner, that doesn't change. So you have not only do you have a consistent expense on what your mortgage is going to be, but you're gaining an asset, and your asset is going to continue to accumulate and build you wealth. So, we talk about, I know your show is about stocks, and those are important, but really the basic level of beginning to gain wealth is through home ownership.
And we use stocks, but we're all about wealth building, generational wealth. So we're all about that. I mean, that's a very good answer, man. I appreciate that. Anybody else?
I got a question. With how technology is moving rapidly now, last week we learned about metaverse, and that was something new to us. How does online showings and portals affect your day-to-day and your bottom line, like Zillow and stuff like that? Does it affect you?
It really, specifically Zillow, makes my job a lot easier. The more people use their cell phones to take pictures, the more video they use, it makes it easier for me, because people know what they're looking for. I've had investors who don't even get to see the house. Like, they've bought houses just based off the photo and maybe me going and doing a FaceTime or a Zoom call just like this with them, and they buy the house. So, technology is extremely helpful when it comes to selling a house. But I will say, just to kind of expand on your question, that Zoom and online and families doing more work online has changed how we look at homes and how we look at home buying. Before, if you had a family of, let's just say 3, they would be fine with, a 4-bedroom, and that 4th bedroom they would use as just a guest room. Well, now that family of 3, they want a house with 5 bedrooms, because they want a house for a guest room, and they want a room for a guest room, but they want a room for their office, or their classroom, because now they're working from home much more often. So people have realized how important having a good home is, and people want bigger homes. So it's changed a lot.
Okay. I want to go back to where you mentioned OTR and also black home ownership. As you look at neighborhoods like OTR, there's been development, but there's also the G word, gentrification. So a lot of times with development comes gentrification. So as we talk about black home ownership, a lot of development, a lot of development takes place in these lower income black neighborhoods, and it pushes the residents out of that neighborhood because they're priced out by, the development and the new buildings, the increase in home values. What's your thoughts on that, and how does that impact what you're working for as your overall goal?
Well, I mean, we should always make sure that no matter what development is happening, that there's affordable options, whether it be affordable rental or affordable home ownership products as well. So I think that when we think about development, we don't just think about it as the G word, as you said, but just we have to make sure that we have holistic development. And that's not just about the housing stock. Is it affordable housing? Is it affordable home ownership? But okay, are you using, black contractors, roofers, plumbers, electricians to help renovate these properties as well? I think that falls into it. But Eric, I think you'd be surprised that a lot of times, we talk about, this gentrification. I've had conversations with people who I've sold buildings who lived in over the Rhine. Their parents, I talked about generational wealth. Their parents had this property. And I'll never forget one time I talked to this brother, and this building had been in his family for since he was a child. He remembered working in that property since he was, 12 years old. And his family had got, his mother and father had got, dad died, his mother had got older. And they were like, hey, you know what? We want out. I said, well, I can sell your property. I gave him the number. I'll just say, hey, 200,000. See, I can get you 200,000 for this round. He said, you give me 200,000? I'm like, yeah. Or, you could hold it. You could finance it, rehab it, and it'll be worth 1.5. And he looked around. He said, no, I'll just sell it and be out. So, there's opportunities that people have to take the property and renovate it. And for whatever reason, they want out the game.
Right.
Is that do you think that's a testament to the amount of resources people have and the knowledge they have to maybe do these things on their own? Maybe like a little anxiety when it comes to stuff like that? Because
I think it's probably a little bit of everything. I think it's a little bit of, hey, I don't know how to do that. Or even beyond that, like, hey, I don't even know that that's possible. Hey, I don't know how to do that. And hey, you know what? I'd rather just make my money and be gone. Right. Because, my mother and father, they bought this knowing that it was going to be worth something one day. And they want me to take the cash out, one way or another. Right. So, sometimes, just selling and being out is the easiest way to deal with things. People don't want the delayed ROI, to make up a word, delay. They don't want that delayed return on. They just want out. They want to get gone. Because, especially if they've been owning the property for 20, 30 years with no note, I say 200,000 right now. They already done spent change. Right, and already spent 15,000 by the time I finished the end of the sentence.
Right. Yeah, I think that goes back a lot to, we've been conditioned for instant gratification. We don't want to wait for it. We want it now versus the alternative. Like you said, 1.5, that's real. To me, that's generational money. 200,000 isn't. You know what I'm saying? After taxes, he was probably left with 100 and something. We got to start thinking. I think we have to educate, and that's one thing that I'm
scared, man. Huh? He was scared. He was scared.
we gotta educate the community on that. Is that, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta forego instant gratification for the bigger goal and a bigger price.
He said, do you know how much kick I can get for this 200K?
like you said, Dansby, he had that money already divvied up.
It was already spent.
Especially Midwest kick. Like, man, I could kick for a long time on this too.
People run into situations, bills, car die.
Right.
I need to move.
As he's waiting, he's still paying taxes on it. He's still paying insurance on it.
So if he sells that for 200, and then with the market as it is now, everything is kind of pricey right now, right? So he'll be better served staying where he's at, right? And trying to find something.
Well, I mean, in that scenario, I mean, it was a family-owned building, family-owned business that was rent out of the building. So he didn't have to move. He didn't have to do anything. I mean, the building was sitting down there, getting fines, building violations. So it made it easier for him just to unload it, But there's been other situations where you have an aging parent and the kids live out of city, out of state, or they live someplace else, and they don't want to deal with the burden. It's the same situation with that. Yeah, they don't want to deal with the burden. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that we as kind of middle-aged to older guys, I think that that's something we need to start thinking about as it relates to our parents and their homes, and what are we going to do with their homes when the time comes for mom, dad, or mom and dad to move out? Hey, are we going to keep this in the family, or are we going to cash out and sell as is? And I think that's to me, that's really the conversation where we start educating ourselves and we start talking about family planning, estate planning. Hey, what do we?
Hey, Dansby,
I think we're experiencing some technical difficulties.
Little pros. Are you close to your router or?
This would be a good thumbnail right here, though. Somebody screenshot it.
Back up.
Yeah, we got it.
You back up? Okay.
Got it. Welcome back to the Option Stocks podcast.
Now, you make some good points.
Yeah, I was flowing.
Yeah, you heard it. You
was.
heard everything. You just got stuck.
Spitting.
You was spitting. Raekwon. Use Raekwon right now.
The purple tape.
The purple tape, exactly.
It was spitting so good we couldn't hear it.
Yeah, you were talking about like family estate planning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the point that I was getting at was, like with that scenario, as we are getting older and our parents are aging, we need to start having conversations with our parents and our siblings about what we want to do with our parents' home when they are unable to live there anymore. Like, those conversations need to happen now. In order to ensure that we're providing generational wealth, we need to start having those conversations now and make a decision. So then that way, when we do this, when our parents decide to move, we know, hey, we flipping mama's house. Hey, we selling mama's house as is. Hey, we Airbnb in mama's house. So everyone is on the same page.
Yeah. Like that goes back to that financial literacy that you started your career on, trying to get people to understanding, the avenues on how to financially be secure. And that's one of those ways. We have some property in Madisonville that some decisions are going to have to be made on about, and that's right up the alley what you were just saying, that those decisions and those conversations have to be had to make sure you don't lose, and make sure you take the opportunity and you get the best out of the opportunity, really.
No doubt. I mean, I think, we don't talk enough about estate planning, and it's a huge thing in the Black community because, I mean, this is what our parents bought the house for, so that, we could help, it could help our families, help our kids and grandkids and so on and so forth. So that's something definitely folks need to talk about more often. I know it's, kind of a painful conversation sometimes, but it's real.
Sounds like a great show idea, in my opinion.
Because one of our good friends, his father just passed away recently, and I guess he knew, he was near his time, and he had everything in order. So when he did pass, he had everything in a drawer and an envelope, and they just went through it. And he told me, he was like, listen, so you don't run into these problems, you need to have a conversation with your father.
Yeah. Yep.
It's been on my mind since his father passed, but I do not know how to bring it up to my dad. I don't know how to bring it up to him. So it's like, I go to him and he gonna look at me like, so you think I'm about to die right now? Like, I don't want to have that conversation.
B-Dub, you'd be surprised. He might already had that stuff prepared. He might be thinking the same thing you thinking, and not know how to bring it to you. Because my dad, he hit me after my sister passed. You know, I think it was all on our minds, and you know, I was like, "Hey, Dad, you know, let's not be caught off guard no more." And he had his stuff ready. He handed me what he needed to hand to me. He had numbers on it, like, "Yo, if this happens, you do this, 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 this." I was like, "Cool, man. It's just a matter of execution at that point. You know, you're doing everything that the man would want done with his stuff. So, you know, it ain't no question of like, am I doing this right or am I doing that right? It's just kind of, you know, working his plan."
Right. And you're blessed to have that. I'm sorry to cut you off, B-Dub. Go ahead.
I think he has some plan in action, because when my mom passed when I was real younger, he already has his plot and everything. So I know he has some type of plan set forth. I just don't know how to bring it to him and ask him, like, okay, listen, he just turned 74 this year, well, last year. So I'm like, okay, I want him to live forever. Yeah, he's 74.
That's crazy, man.
Man, Pops don't look 74, man.
He doesn't, man.
You work out every day, man.
He don't look 74 at all.
So just like, I don't know how to bring it to him, but you know, for the new year, man, that's just something I have to go ahead and suck up and have that conversation with him. Because I know my sister.
You might be surprised. He probably already has it planned out.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because I don't know
so.
the first thing about, you know, I mean, one of my friends told me exactly the steps to do and had this conversation. I'm like, okay, it sounds good, but once he's in front of me.
And I've lived through a parent not having a plan, and it's no fun. I mean, it's no fun at all, because now you're talking probate has their hand on the property. You try and get the property from probate. It's not fun at all. So yeah, I would definitely advise people to make sure you have that conversation. And you know, like you said, it's a planning conversation. It's not, hey, you know, do you want to be cremated, or you know, what suit you want to have on when I bury you? It's kind of like a, you know, you helping us in your departure. You're helping us kind of plan for that. But yeah, it's no fun, man. When my dad passed, things were in shambles, and it took so long to kind of get things ironed out because there was nothing in place. You know, he had 2 homes, and you know, and it's sad because we had to let both of those homes pretty much dissolve. Like they went back, and one went into foreclosure. So it's like not having a plan will really set that idea of generational wealth back a generation, because no plan.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. That's powerful.
So Darrick, when I was reading through your bio, and you touched on, you know what I'm saying, the Realtist Association, but something that stood out to me was it said dedicated to democracy and housing. I thought that was just an interesting blurb. Tell me what that means to you and what that means to your organization and how that's benefiting the community.
Well, you know, I mentioned the fact that, you know, our mission is to increase the home ownership rate amongst African-American families. And in order to do that, there's a number of things that really kind of have to happen. First and foremost, our lenders are not lending to us. They're not lending to Black people. There's data that proves that they're not lending to Black people nationwide. And that's something that needs some serious attention, and that's something that needs to be changed. Beyond all of that, we need to, you know, and we strive to, as an organization, teach individuals that home ownership is a real option. There's a lot of people that think that, like, oh, well, you got to have an 800 or 900 credit score to get a house. Oh, you got to have, you know, 30% down to get a house. There's a lot of myths and unknowns, and people whisper things about home ownership it's just not even true. It's not based off anything but something you heard hearsay from third hand from a guy who don't own no house and never even tried to. You know, then to kind of go along with that is just educating people on the process, getting them connected with someone like myself who's a real estate agent, and then, you know, continuing to work with other folks who are part of the Realtists that, you know, hey, let's get you a Realtist who's an inspector, and a Black appraiser if necessary. And I got you in front of a Black lender, and really try to keep, the economics and, cooperatively within the Black community. So then that way, when you buying a house, you feeding all these other people along the way, and you're buying a house. So, we try to work hard to make sure that our lenders locally, are being fair about their lending practices, to make sure that the lenders, we as realtors are able to get the product that the lenders have to the people. So then that way, when you say, hey, look, Doug's, hey, look, I'm looking to build a house in Madisonville, I got a list of 5 or 6 lenders already lined up that he can call to build that house in Madisonville. And I can tell you which one of them, is going to have the no money down or the only 1% down option, and that's important because, a lot of times it's not about what you know, it's who you know, and being able to pick up the phone and call the right person that's going to lend you that house, even though you got a 580 credit score, is a big deal.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think all our listeners need to call Darrick Downtown Dansby.
So, man. Hey, Darrick, I got a question for you, but first I'm gonna hit you with props, man. I can't remember how long ago it was, but I was driving downtown. I used to work downtown. We moved offices a little bit up the way now, but I used to work downtown, and I was driving, and OTR was going through all them changes, and to where it is right now. And I'm driving past the building, and I just see the name like called Darrick Dansby. I'm like, what? Darrick Dansby on the side of the building? I was like, okay, all right, he's doing it big. So, I congratulate you on, doing it to the level you're doing it. I mean, you're real modest and real humble, but, I know from what I've seen with your name downtown that, you do things pretty big.
I appreciate that.
No doubt. And I was looking at your bio too, and I'm gonna take it selfishly here. I saw that you were a part of Price Hill Will, and I own a rental property in Price Hill. So I just want you to speak on kind of what you did with that organization. And I don't know if you're still plugged into the area, but I mean, it's really come a long way too from when I bought there in 2004.
So when I was at Price Hill Will, I was the director of development there. I think I rehabbed about 10 houses there. We had these 5 townhomes, the Purcell townhomes. I think they were on, I can't remember the cross street, but they were on for sale. There was 5 of them.
Is it those row homes?
Yep, those row homes.
Yeah, that's right by my area. Yeah, yep.
So, when I started with Price Hill Will, they were kind of in really, really rough condition. I want to say that was 2013, 2014 or so. And so we rehabbed those. We created 5 homeowners, since they were townhomes, we had to create an HOA, and we actually rehabbed all 5 of those. And then I did 5 more houses scattered throughout the neighborhood as well. I also did there's like a little town, there's a memorial right there at St. Anthony Square.
Yeah, yep.
In Warsaw, right across the street from Kroger. I also kind of laid that out and did that program as well, working with architects and other contractors. But the reason why Price Hill Will was created was because in the 2000s, there was the foreclosure thing that happened. And a lot of houses got foreclosed on, and those vacant houses ended up really becoming like eyesores, or they increased crime. People was hanging out in them. So the job of Price Hill Will was to take those foreclosed homes and turn them into home ownership opportunities. Then that would help end blight and help stabilize the community, because you've got new homeowners coming into Price Hill. And that did a huge help. And Price Hill Will was really kind of ahead of the pack in that. I also did some work at that Masonic Lodge in Purcell. That's now like an event space. When I walked in there, it was just an empty shell that had just been sitting there for forever, and there was water coming through the glass roof all the way down to the basement.
Oh wow!
So it's Price Hill is a hidden little gem, man. It's a good place to own some investment property.
Oh, good. I'm
I
glad
tell
to hear
people
you
all
say
the
that.
time. Yeah, I tell people all the time, if you're looking for investment property, like check out the West Side. There's some great values over there.
Job well done, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
what pushes the values? I mean, we talk about appreciation, right? When you're talking about real estate, and like what areas do you see appreciating a little more than others?
You mentioned Madisonville. Madisonville is blown up. Anything really in the city is, I'll say this, if you live in the city of Cincinnati, you are in an appreciating situation. More people are deciding to move closer to the city. They don't necessarily want to be downtown and over the Rhine, but they want to take an Uber downtown, or they want to get downtown in 5 or 10 minutes. The city is really kind of, Cincinnati is always 10 years behind everything. That's what Mark Twain said. So now in 2022 rather, 10 years ago when everyone else was blowing up, now Cincinnati's really starting to feel it. And there's not enough housing stock. And it's not just in the city, it's really happening everywhere. There's not enough houses for the number of people that are looking to buy homes right now. So if you're looking to sell,
seller's market,
it's so strong a seller's market that if you're gonna sell, I would encourage you to buy your next house before you sell your current house, because once I put it on the market, and we're gonna price it right, it's gonna be sold within a week.
That's what I was saying. Like, if you sell your house, like, where are you gonna move to?
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Even with all the equity, like specifically, I can speak to here in Nashville. The housing market is ridiculous, and so everything is inflated. I got friends who have $200,000 and $300,000 of equity in their homes, and they can't sell them because they can't afford that. That doesn't get them. Yeah, they can't afford to go buy anything else. So it's like
you lose all your profit buying something else.
Exactly. So they're stuck holding all of this equity, because if they want to go buy something and keep some money in their pocket, then they got to go further outside of the city of Nashville. So I'm assuming Cincinnati may be similar, but it's ridiculous, the housing prices, and not being able to leverage your own equity because there's nothing else to buy.
Yeah, it's similar here in the city of Cincinnati. It's really a nationwide trend right now. That, especially if you live in a bigger city, housing prices are just going up so fast that you definitely need to have another house or apartment, condo, whatever, lined up, ready to close. I would even suggest that you close and move into that place. And then that way it'll make the transition of your new home even faster.
Yeah. So unless anybody had something else, I wanted to transition a little bit over to your investments and what you're doing in that aspect. And once again, we call ourselves Hops and Stocks, but stock is generic. We look at real estate, we look at entrepreneurship, small business ownership. So let's dive into real estate investment.
So, I've done rental properties before, and I didn't like it. I kind of got out that game, but I know a lot of people right now, rentals is big, or buy and holds is big. If you find a house that maybe it's 2-3 bedrooms, maybe it doesn't have a driveway. If it's at a good price, it may not make a good flip right now, but it would make a great buy and hold. And the reason why I say that is, like, we know that a lot of these neighborhoods and are changing. That buy and hold of that house that maybe wouldn't make a good home ownership opportunity right now in 2022, come 2027, come 2030, it might make a good home ownership opportunity for somebody. That if you're looking at real estate as a long-term, a buy and hold, I would look at it from a buy and hold from a long-term perspective. That right now, if you find a gem that you think is something that you can get some good money from a rental perspective, I would consider buying and holding right now, especially if you can get it at a good price.
So when you say hold, are you meaning renting it out while you're holding it?
Yep, rent it out. If you're close to a university, you're close to a hospital, you're close to downtown, I would definitely consider Airbnb option. People are Airbnb-ing everything these days. There's more and more management companies that are popping up by the day that'll handle your cleaning process. You can automate it and put some smart locks and some smart cameras on it. I mean, you can run a business without even having to go there. So I would definitely look at buy and holds right now as a good opportunity to do that. I mean, you know, I'm doing some flips mainly just because, you know, I was able to get the property at such a low value that doing it as a flip makes sense. But they're so hard to find houses to flip right now that buy and hold is really kind of the newer trend that people are looking at.
So
you can even get financing for buy and holds depending on where it's at.
Well, that was my question. You know, when people are looking to get into secondary income with real estate, and you always have to go through the bank. So our banks, I haven't really checked lately, but our banks more flexible now with, you know, the debt to income ratios, or how are they giving out those loans here recently for because it would be considered non-owner occupied, right? And those loans are different than owner occupied.
Yeah, so those loans are different, but you know, there's a variety of lenders out there. You know, the same people who do the fix and flip loans have buy and hold loans as well. And they're out there. The numbers just have to make sense. I use a website called Renometer, and I can plug an address in and it'll tell me, you know, based on the number of bedrooms, number of baths, it'll give you a good sense of how much you can rent it out for. So you can use those comparative analysis data to help write your pro forma when you're writing it up. And a lot of times in a lot of places, you don't necessarily have to redo the whole house, especially with the buy and hold, because you're probably just renting it out either as a long-term rental or as a short-term rental. It just needs to be neat and it just needs to be clean. You know, if it's an Airbnb, it's just someone that's there, you know, for the weekend. If it's a long-term rental, you know, hey, it's just a rental. It is what it is. But there's lenders out there that'll do that. The same folks that are doing fix and flip loans are the same folks that are doing buy and holds. And buy and holds are going to become much more popular here recently because there's nothing else for people to invest in.
Well, I know rates are low right now because I mean, I think like 2.8% right now for a refinance. What are the rates when it comes to like non-owner occupied or investment properties?
Last I checked, the conventional loan rates are right around 3.8, 3.7, 3.8, somewhere in that range. So they haven't gone up too high. They're still very low. They jumped up a little bit here about a month ago, but they're predicting that they're going to eventually go back down.
Yeah, I mean, three for an investment property is not bad at all.
I remember I bought a property in 2006, and the rate on that was like 6%. And they were like, "Oh, you better lock this in because it's so low." And
right.
I was like, you know, I mean, at the time, and it was low.
It was low, right?
Yeah. So, you know, the rates are so low that just adds on the reason why there's so many buyers and not enough inventory, because now at 3.8, people can buy so much more house than they could before.
Right.
So, you know, it's just nuts.
And see what the market's doing now. Since the rate is so low, rates are like, you know, in the twos. It's like a refi market, you know, get some cash out and, you know, maybe use that cash out to home improvement, or maybe use that cash out to buy a piece of property, you know.
Something else, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the rental prices are, I'm sorry, you go ahead, sir.
No, I mean, I was just going to say the rental market right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, man. The rental prices are so crazy now. I mean, the rental market might be crazier than the actual buying market.
No, it is. Yes. It's facts, man. As somebody who's going through that right now, I've actually, by choice, I guess, been priced out of where I rent, because I bought a condo that won't be ready till June, and my month to month, if I re-sign my lease, well, not re-sign it, but if I do a month to month, it's $2,500 a month. Whew. Yeah, and I'm just like, that makes no sense. I signed a short-term lease as kind of a bridge, as kind of like a stopgap, and I'm paying $2,000 a month. And so it's just like, over 2,000. Like mentally, I just can't. I can't wrap my hand around paying that for a place that I don't own. So, and I live in an area called Germantown, which is like gentrified like crazy. Oracle is building here. It's just insane to live down here. And like I said, it's cheaper just overall Nashville. Like the average cost of rent in Nashville, I believe is $1,875. My mortgage is several $100s cheaper than that. So it's like, okay, it right now it makes financial sense to buy.
Is that a crisis? Is that like a rental crisis? I mean, it seems like what people are paying in rent right now is at crisis level.
I would agree. So I'm in a couple like local Nashville groups on like Facebook, and it's a topic of conversation every day where Black people feel like they're being priced out of their own communities. And it's factual because Nashville is downtown centric. So everybody wants to live downtown. And Nashville keeps inviting these major companies into downtown. So you got Amazon, you got Bridgestone, you got Oracle coming. And they're bringing people in from out of state. So they're bringing people in from the coast who think that these prices are cheap compared to how much it costs for a 1-bedroom in California and New York. These prices are cheap. So they're willing to pay $2,000 for a 700 square foot, 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. You know what I mean? Like they think they're getting a deal. So the rental thing, like I talk to my apartment managers all the time, and it was like, it's not going down. It was like, we're going to see these prices escalate for at least about the next 5 years until a lot of this stuff stabilizes with these new companies coming in, with these new residents coming in. We'll see a stabilization, but to live in downtown Nashville, you're not going to pay less than $2,000. You know what I mean?
I mean, why would you ever go down anyway? Like what reason would they be like, all right, let's take the prices down? They're only gonna keep going up, man.
Sometimes the market dictates that. So during COVID, New York saw a mass exodus. You know what I'm saying? Because the rental prices was crazy. It was like, yo, we out of here. Right. So as people exit, you see the price go down. It's just simple supply and demand. If people no longer want to live downtown, you can't charge $2,000 a month because your rental vacancy is, you know what I'm saying, high.
True.
But if you're at 95, 97%, you know what I'm saying, full capacity, then yeah, you can charge what you want. Yeah, you keep going up. But once them numbers start dropping, you get to 90, 89, or 87, then they have to readjust and say, okay, people are exiting for the suburbs. We want them to come back. We have to entice them with low rent.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's just simply not enough supply to meet the number of people that are looking. Yeah. And when there's less supply and more demand, I mean, the price is just going to go up and up and up. You know, the other thing that I would suggest to your listeners also is start buying vacant land.
Yes.
I don't care what it is, $100, $200, just buy vacant land, because we don't have enough supply. And eventually people are going to move to, well, you know what? I'm just going to buy a plot of land and build my own house. Yeah. And I think we're going to get there sooner than we think.
Yeah, you can do that in Dayton, man. There's seriously, I've seen
$900 slabs.
Yeah, I've seen lots for like $900, and you know, it's just like I haven't been moving fast enough, and right now I'm tied up with buying a condo, so I've been holding on to all the ducats. But there's so many opportunities just to buy land, and once again, if you buy a lot for $1,000, your taxes is like $60 a year. So even if you just let it sit, it doesn't cost a lot of money to own that piece of property, keep the grass cut.
It will sell itself. People will contact you like, do you want to sell this land?
Yeah, exactly.
All the time. It's happening to us right now.
When I look here in Germantown, the tornadoes came through here, what was it, 2 years ago? Almost 2 years ago. And it knocked down like a bunch of stuff, basically like free demolition. And more specifically, there was an O'Reilly's right up here on Rosa Parks. They're not rebuilding the O'Reilly's. O'Reilly sold that land, and now they're putting a 10-story apartment complex right there. You know what I'm saying? And but the bad part about it is this particular area, and actually all of downtown Nashville, they're not building stuff that people can buy. They're building stuff that people can rent. So whoever that family that owns that development is just getting residual income for like you said, like we're talking about generational wealth. It doesn't benefit them to sell condos. It benefits them to rent this entire complex for the next umpteen years, man.
Right. Long term.
Yeah.
Hey, Dansby, I haven't forgotten, man, when we were sitting up in BW3s, and I think we were watching Trotwood versus Mansfield.
Ram Nation.
You had to go there, huh? Go there, man.
We talk about tornadoes, and I'm like, man, the Trotwood tornado, it kind of just brought me back to the tornado we gave y'all.
Man, what did y'all win in overtime?
Man, y'all made some horrible mistakes. That made some horrible mistakes in overtime. It was like 4th and 30. Y'all kept moving back. I knew you was at the game. You was probably at the game, weren't you?
I was at the game. Yeah. You know, they scored on that 90-yard touchdown. I'm like, man, that's the only score they're gonna get, man.
Right.
They had one good player. He's good. Angelo Gross. He plays for Michigan State. He starts for Michigan State. He's good.
He's a corner.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. But I was like, man, Trotwood been there 10 times. I'm like, man, this ain't nothing to them.
Right. It was fun watching it with you, man. You were sad.
In overtime, y'all just imploded. It was like 3 bad snaps.
That's what you would call it. 3 bad. I mean, the moment was too big for you guys.
It was too big.
Well, you know, it'll happen soon enough. History tends to repeat itself. So,
it was cool to see 2 black coaches go at it, man. I mean, that was cool.
Definitely cool.
Yeah.
That was a good game, man.
Hey, man, was there anything you want to add, man? You want to drop your information for our listeners? I mean, it's been our pleasure having you on, man. And I think we really got a lot out of.
Yeah, man. You got to come back, man. I mean, hell, your beer knowledge is is amazing, and I mean, this, you know, we get the financial and the real estate on top of that, man. You know, you definitely got a open seat at this table, man.
Yeah, what they call it?
Besides the IPA, what else do you drink, Dan? Besides the IPAs, we know you like.
I'm a bourbon guy.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Bourbon,
yeah, I'm a bourbon guy. So yeah, I do
bourbons.
Stockpile,
Eric.
It's all in storage.
It's all in storage.
Yeah, it's empty.
Has a bourbon collection out of this world, man.
Is that a growler behind you?
Yeah, I see several. I see several of them.
I got a few growlers. I got a Rhinegeist growler. I got a Mad Tree growler. I got a Braxton growler. I got a metal growler. I'll put most of the time I put water in its ducks and I take it to the golf course from time to time.
Yeah, so I try to keep wins that battle between y'all two.
Oh man, it's just friendly competition,
yeah,
man.
Man.
We just go out, man, have a good time, man.
I don't want to hear that, man. Who wins the battle, man?
Dansby's more experienced, man. He has a real good game. I'm trying to get on Dansby's level, really.
No, don't believe that, man. Doug be out there balling, man.
I try, but you know, you've taught me a lot in the game, so I appreciate that.
I've learned a lot from Doug too, man. Whatever, if I could chip and putt like Doug,
I ain't learned that from
man.
Me, man.
Cool, man.
I mean, maybe the chip, you know what
man,
I mean?
I'm telling y'all, Doug can chip his ass off, man. Y'all need to check him out, man. He's the truth, man.
Hey, Dansby, I'm gonna put something on your plate for you, man. Why don't you get together the Hops and Stocks Invitational, man?
The Hops and Stocks golf outing.
Yeah,
hey,
man.
That would be dope, man. We get some little polos made up, man.
Yeah.
Put us in on that hood course on Reading, man.
Okay, hey, and look, every other hole though, there's got to be someone there giving you a new beer to try and sample. Got to make that part of the whole thing.
We with that.
We can arrange that.
I think that would be dope.
That'd be tight, man. I mean, all the local breweries are sitting
there. Every other hole, we're
like,
trying a new beer.
Like Doug said, man, we don't want to let you go without you shooting out your socials and links to your information. Because like I said, man, it seemed like you got a lot of good things going on that the community is interested in hearing.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter at Downtown Dansby. I've got a website, downtowndansby.com. So that's downtown, DANSBY. But I would love to come back anytime, and I would love for your listeners and your viewers check me out whenever you can. I'm happy to help, happy to assist with all your real estate needs.
Facts, man.
And you know, I got some situations I'm gonna be contacting you about.
Just holler, man. Yep. Just holler.
Yeah. Once again, thanks for joining us. This is episode 24 of the Hops and Stocks podcast. Signing out.
Peace.
Be a shell of a man if we ever depart.